Today I'm going to share with you 7 signs your nervous system is really healing and take the mystery out of it. What is it? What does it look like? And how can we live in harmony with it? I'm going to share a piece of my story, and then I'm going to give you a whole bunch of suggestions in the end so that you never burn yourself out like I did by the time I was 42. I'm Georgie Holbrook. I'm a holistic health educator. I teach ancient wisdom around nature, how nature is calling all of us back home because we're having health issues that we could prevent, right? So I'm going to share with you a picture. So this is your nervous system, in case you've never thought about it. This is your nervous system. It starts at the nape of your neck and it goes down. Each foot has 7,400 nerve endings. Now you'll see this is an electrical system. This is your immune system going through all your organs. And what happens when we put enough stress on it, like I did in the corporate world, the body breaks down. So if this is our immune system, life was meant to flow just like in that picture. But you put me in a fast-paced 12, 14-hour day life, this is the way I'm going. I'm just tense, I'm tight, I'm making decisions, and I'm multitasking and doing the work of 5 people sometimes, and life felt like it was good. But this became familiar. This was my way of life. I didn't have a life, and I didn't know that my body was keeping score, and it would catch up with me. So remember, it was meant to flow. And when we're not in flow, we're going opposite of nature. So what happened to me is that my body broke down. So after I healed at age 42, I had lost my eyesight, and for 7 years I struggled with an incurable deforming disease, but it left me with a nervous system that was totally fried because of being so tight and tense and in fear with the disease. So first it was in the corporate world, and then I get this disease, and now I'm all traumatized and horrified and have just a lot of anxiety. So here's how it shows up. My face heals, my eyesight comes back, and then I'm left with these symptoms. I'm totally exhausted. Maybe you've run a marathon and then the next day you're just done. Well, I had run a major health marathon in my own life, and now I was just exhausted. So if you gave me your phone number, I would write it down 3 times and I would still mix it up. So I had memory loss. I had brain fog. It was just like I couldn't get my brain to work. And one major thing that showed up was that I had put so much stress in the corporate world, burning out my immune system. And then I had this health issue that once I healed that, I couldn't get my brain and my mouth to talk. I would look at you and pray that you never asked me a question because I couldn't fire my brain. I was fried, man, on many different levels from my foolish ways of working 12, 14 hours a day, 7 days a week for a long time. And I was good at that, but I wasn't good at taking care of my body. So I'm sharing it with you. So I would go to run errands. I would have 5 things on my list. I would do one thing and then I would return home and go to bed. So it was a regular shameful way of going through life, going, oh my God, my life is over. And I'm only 42, 45 years old now, right? So I felt like I was walking around in a cloud. I couldn't identify what I was feeling. I had roller coaster mood swings. And you'll notice that when you're emotional, and you're in the healing process, your emotions will jump around in pain. So you'll have it in your right knee today, you'll have it in your left foot tomorrow, you'll have it in your right hip, and it just bounces around. Then you know it's an emotional pain that's trying to tell your inner story. So I teach people that now. I didn't know that back then when it was happening to me. I had an internalized quiver 24 hours a day. That means that I've had put enough stress on my body and my organs, that my organs that work like time clocks with each other in harmony were out of harmony, and I had this quiver inside. Now my clothes weren't shaking, but I definitely would never heal if that quiver was continually there. And I was told that also. But I know that today, that you can't heal when you move out of harmony with nature. I had adrenal exhaustion, but I didn't understand adrenal exhaustion. So I'm going to give you a little highlight on adrenal exhaustion. Adrenals, we've all heard this, are a fight or flight system. That if we're in an emergency, we're to use it that time, but not every day in multitasking. So when we're multitasking, the adrenals think that we're in a fire, that there must be an emergency. So always taking our adrenaline and pumping it into the bloodstream incorrectly. Well, what's going to happen when we do enough of that? You're going to have mood swings, you're going to have memory loss, you're going to have hormonal stuff, you're going to have all kinds of different physical symptoms. Again, the signs of burning out, right? So I want to tell you now, switch over, you might want to take notes, the things that you can do. If you're suffering from any kind of exhaustion and you just feel like you can't even get out of bed, stop multitasking. Stop being on the TV and all the different equipment that we have. That energy is a nervous energy. Delegate to others if you can, anything and everything. Just say, I need help. I need time off, and I might need 3 to 6 months. I might need a whole year, but I'm changing my life. I'm going to live simple, and I'm not going to go down that road where I don't have a mind and I burn myself out. It is not worth it. I'm going to rest. So go ahead and rest. And here's what happens is that when you have the adrenals, when they start restoring themselves through rest, you're going to have a tendency to go out and now take on a project because you have energy. Because this was my thing. I would have energy, and then the next day I'd be back in bed. So the adrenal system, once you burned it out, works very slowly to replenish itself. So in the end, I'll tell you a story about the adrenals. Okay, find peace within at whatever price it takes. Stop getting in all this nervous anxiety. It's just not worth tearing up your immune system, right? And you're going to, what I suggest, trust the universe, because the universe brought you into this world with a system that lives in harmony with nature. The same nature that brings the moon up and the sun up and grows a blade of grass is intelligent enough to take care of you in the future if you come back in harmony with it, right? And if the people around you don't enhance and inspire you, then start choosing differently, even if it means having time by yourself and just being by yourself. And one of the things that happened to me when I was just most of the time in bed and very weak, I would get my friends that would call and they'd want to tell me their story, and I couldn't take one more story. It's just kind of like the TV or the news or Facebook or whatever you're watching. Get away from it, because what it does is it's like digesting negative feedback rather than food, right? So eventually you're just like, man, I'm not feeling good. I'm feeling moody and whatever. So I had to tell my friends, don't call me, because my doctor said, I want you to take this. My doctor said, I have to rest. And my doctor was Jesus. So I didn't, I'm in the holistic field. So I chose not to go the medical route, not saying that you can. But I wanted to have a system that I could back up. So here's the adrenal system. This is what it looks like. Imagine that you and I have an 18-wheel truck. It has 2 gas tanks, I'm told. And one is just to be going through wherever we're traveling. But the second gas tank is only if we're in an emergency and there isn't a gas station for miles and miles and miles that we can rely on that. Well, you and I have went through life. We burnt through our first gas tank, our adrenaline, and we burnt through our second one. So then there is nothing. There is nothing left. So when you're trying to repair the adrenal and nervous system, it's a slow process if you burnt it out and you're experiencing some of the things I'm talking about. So when it builds up, you don't want to go out and start doing something major when you start having energy, because the next day you're not going to have any energy, and that's what's going to be confusing. And it's a mystery when you don't know what's going on. And that was my mystery. It was like, how come I had energy yesterday and today I just feel lousy, right? I just feel I'm non-functional. That was because I didn't know what I didn't know, that my adrenals really were trying to heal, but it's a slow process bringing the body at all levels back up into harmony. So give yourself permission to heal, to self-heal, and say no to all the things that aren't working for you or all the demands See what you can carve out. Leave comments, but sign up for my newsletter because I would love to share with you the programs that I teach and have been teaching when it comes to my newsletter. So, from my heart to yours, I hope you really step back today and say, what is my life like? And what have I learned? You know, just recently I had a friend stop by. She, too, for the last 2 years, has been in bed with adrenal and nervous system symptoms because she was on an assignment where they had 3 big monitors, and she's an engineer and she was just doing awesome. They had this big assignment, again, just like me in the corporate world, 12, 14 hours a day, whatever it was, demands over and over, week after week. And then when she left that, there was no more. She's been just down for 2 weeks. I mean, 2 years, 2 years now, where she can't function. And a very young, 45 years old, she feels like her life is over. So I don't want you going that route. Love, self-nurturing is the greatest love of all. Again, take care. I'm Georgie Holbrook.